All right, so we are in week 9 now, and we've been hitting, of course, topic after topic. You guys are doing a great job of catching up with it, or keeping up with it, should I say? And we have an exam, our first exam this week, and you'll notice that it's really just me having you do a recap paper. I feel like if I had a multiple choice question exam for you, it would be almost like terrifying, right? I mean, because we've covered so much, and you may have a lot of knowledge right now, but not all of this. And I mean, this is hard for me to keep up without my notes. Sometimes I have to really dig into my brain to remember dates, names, and places, because it's a lot, right? And in any case, the exam is not that difficult, and you'll notice that the points for it are it's not going to make or break you, okay, in terms of this class. So my class is work-oriented as a process. I don't make it exam-oriented. Some classes do that, where there's a heavy emphasis put on the exam. I just have a different style of that, okay, until I get forced, unless I'm told that I have to do different by my superiors. But this is the kind of thing that would happen in some of my UC Santa Cruz classes by very prestigious professors with PhDs, so I'm not breaking ranks in some major way. So we do have a little bit, maybe a little extra work on one hand this week, but you should find this to be very tolerable if you've been keeping up with the class, okay? And we're doing, but what I want though, actually just to say, I want content and quality, please, though. You notice I don't leave a lot of comments for you. I do actually read your papers. I skim through sometimes quickly. I try to make sure, especially if I'm seeing something that you're addressing, I want to make sure that there's not false information in there. I'm definitely not like just reading every word slowly, I'll be honest, but I'm looking at your content, and I'm trying to make sure that I spot anything that should be off, that shouldn't be off, or needs clarification. But so with the exam, I just want you to give me quality. Give me quality, okay? Like, how long is it going to be? I'm not as much worried about that as, like, I don't need 1 trillion pages to try to read, and I don't want one. But if you can make one look really awesome, I don't know. The bottom line is I want a demonstration of knowledge from you about what you've been learning in this class, like in the exam, okay? And you can kind of see right now, if you're getting full credit for your papers from me, you're on the right track, okay? Some of you I have been putting less points because I've been trying to address that you're not putting enough content, okay? And I'm not taking off a lot sometimes, but I'll start taking off more if I keep seeing less and less content being put in there. That's the real issue for me, okay? So that's the exam. Now we're covering Judaism, and you'll notice that I say that it is separate from ancient Israel. And sometimes I get people confused. I have one of the assignments is to talk about what's the difference between ancient Israel and Judaism. And it's not always so obvious. But I'm going to just help you kind of now, like, to just kind of mentally get this picture of what we're talking about. With ancient Israel, right, in the class, I gave you the literal biblical narratives. Okay? Oops, there's a phone just got text. So, anyhow, and then I did the debate that archaeologists have with what to make of ancient Israel. So in other words, from a historical point of view, there's a little bit of murkiness into exactly how to conceptualize what's going on with ancient Israel, how far back, and then the development of ancient Israel itself, especially when we're going outside of the Bible. Now, Judaism, right, is really, I'm talking about essentially from a time period that is not ancient Israel, not connected even to the land per se, even though it might have a spiritual connection. And I talk about groups like the Pharisees or things like the Talmud. The Talmud is not the Bible, right? And we're going to learn a lot about the Talmud. And I think that many misconceptions that people have about Judaism is that the Bible plays much less of a central role in Orthodox Judaism, rabbinic Judaism that we see developed over the centuries. The Talmud is the central text. Okay, the Bible is the foundation, but learning and Judaism itself, the idea of why they separate meat and cheese, and that's not considered kosher. I believe I addressed this in one of my lectures, but my point is that many things that Orthodox Jews practice and do and how they conceptualize things comes out of the Talmud. Okay, so again, ancient Israel, are we talking about the Talmud? Not necessarily. And for just to clarify, for a really Orthodox kind of fundamentalist Jewish person, the Talmud is supposed to go really back all the way to Moses on Mount Sinai. That's the religious text. So maybe they would say, okay, maybe they wouldn't agree so much with the separation of ancient Israel from modern Judaism based on that teaching, that idea of the Talmud. But I think from a historical point of view, we see some differences coming there, and then with the canonization and the putting down of the Talmud into writing and the development of that. Okay, so it's really interesting. I think you will enjoy this. You'll be much more informed on the topics. Keep in mind that probably a lot of your Jewish friends, unless they are Orthodox practicing, they don't necessarily have a lot of Talmudic study as well. But you will see in Israel and parts of New York and other communities where sometimes the men study 8 hours a day the Talmud. They don't even work, and their wives work, and they give them food, and they really believe that studying that is like what they're supposed to be doing. That's kind of interesting. But in any case, I think you'll like being exposed to this. When I do Islam, I'm also going to be exposing you to some other material that usually doesn't really get discussed, such as the hadiths, but that's a whole other topic. So for now, we're in Judaism. I think you'll enjoy it. The Talmud video is long, the last documentary. It's a little slow and sometimes a little bit quirky. But if you watch the entire thing, I think that you will really appreciate, and it's a very pro-Talmud. It's a documentary I'm pretty sure is made by Orthodox Jews promoting the Talmud as the greatest piece of literature on earth. And I like you being exposed to that because you're not going to get much exposure to that anywhere else. And it's informative. It's very informative. So, enough of that. I'm babbling on. And if you have any questions this week, just let me know and we'll be in contact. Otherwise, yeah. So, shalom.